5 significant movies. Yeah, 5. Ooh, it has been a while, hasn't it? Jon D Barker started this tag. He asked for 5 movies that made an impact on us. Not necessarily 5 favorites or 5 best, just 5 movies that connected in some personal way. I really enjoyed John's video because it wasn't just about the films. It was also about how movies affected him. When he says 5 significant films, he means personally significant. And for me, there are many more than 5. But I'll start here. Here are my first 5. Duck Soup, Lawrence of Arabia, Yojimbo, Monterey Pop, Bart and Fink. Tried to squeeze them all into one video, but I just talked too much. Got out of hand, got too long. So I'm going to break it up. Talk about one film a day. Look, John, you got me doing a mini-series. Oh, one thing more before I get to the films. I want to say something about how we watch movies. If you decide to watch any of the films I mentioned here, you can be doing so within seconds, pretty much wherever you are right now. If you can see this video, then any of these movies could be playing on this screen instantly. But when I was growing up, there was no streaming, no torrents, no Netflix, no Redbox, weren't even video stores. I mean, I'm sorry to go all when I was a boy on you, but when I was a boy, basically had 2 options for watching movies. New films came to the movie theaters. Old films showed up on TV. Shortened to fit time slots. Oh. Chopped up into little segments to make room for advertising. Oh. And if they were widescreen, they were panned and scanned to fit my narrow TV. Oh. But then, around the time I got out of high school, something really wonderful happened. A couple called Dan and Toby Talbot leased a movie house on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. They refurbished it, renamed it the New Yorker Theater, and then they began hunting for good 35mm prints of great movies from anywhere, any time and place. In those days, the studios hadn't yet recognized the value of their catalog, so a good print was hard to find. But the Talbots persevered, and in the process, they attracted and nourished a community of people who love films, especially older films. And not just older people, but young people too, which I was at the time. For me, the best thing about the New Yorker was it was just a short subway ride from my university. The New Yorker closed in 1973, but it has expanded my experience of movies for a lifetime. One of the first films I saw there was the Four Marx Brothers in Duck Soup. Now, I'd seen Marx Brothers on TV, but seeing them on the big screen in the middle of a laughing audience, whole new universe. By the time they made Duck Soup, Chico, Harpo, and Groucho were already in their 40s. They had been honing their act for more than 2 decades in vaudeville and on Broadway, perfecting their characters, their interactions, their timing. Think about that. They started about 100 years ago. So when you watch the Marx Brothers, you have a lens into popular entertainment that goes back a full century. In the years that Chaplin and Keaton were mastering the art of silent comedy, the Marx Brothers were in the theaters mastering verbal comedy. Well, 3 out of the 4 were. When movies learned to talk and the silent clowns faded, the Marx Brothers were ready with the perfect act. Their comedy centers on language, Groucho using it as a weapon, Chico misunderstanding it, Harpo creating his own nonverbal language. Given their exaggerated theatricality, you might expect they wouldn't fit into the naturalistic world of movies. But I think they succeed because of their outlandishness, not in spite of it. The rest of the movie may date and age around them, but the Marx Brothers are timeless. They project a kind of postmodern detachment, especially Groucho. And this was years before the term was even invented. Duck Soup is the only Marx Brothers movie with no romantic subplot and no harp or piano interludes. It's flat-out comedy from fade in to fade out, and most fans agree it's the funniest of their films. An irreverent send-up of politics, diplomacy, and war. Always timely. Impact? As with almost anything in pop culture, the Marx Brothers have a fandom, and I once got a job because of that. I sent in an audition tape for a disc jockey job and happened to include a clip from Duck Soup. I had no idea that the manager was a huge Marx Brothers fan, but he was, and he hired me. Tomorrow, Film 2, Lawrence of Arabia. Until next time, I'm Mickeleh. DVD extras. I didn't mention the 4th Marx brother, Zeppo. He was the youngest. Never developed a distinct comedy persona like his older brothers. Chico, Tyrolean hat, cheesy Italian accent. Harpo, red curly wig, coat stuffed with improbable props and gags, never speaking. Groucho, tailcoat, painted mustache, leering, loping walk, and a torrent of surreal wisecracks. And Zeppo, he's just a guy. Sometimes he got the girl, sometimes he played Groucho's son, sometimes he was just there. He left the act after Duck Soup, went into business with his brother Gummo as a talent agent. And then he went into another business with a guy named Albert Herman, manufacturing motorcycles and clamps for the military in World War II. Oh, one of the hot tech categories this year is wearable health and fitness monitors. Turns out that in 1969, Zeppo and his partner patented a heart monitor you could wear on your wrist. It would alert the wearer to unusual heart rhythms. Here's Jon D Barker's original 5 films video. If you'd like to know more about the Talbots and the New Yorker Theater, here's a short talk by Tony Talbot. And here's a long talk by her. Here's my review of a film that cleaned up at the Oscars, 7 Academy Awards. Bye now.